Brother Bill, we're going to start in Genesis chapter 4. I'll give Shalom, shalom, and welcome to Yahweh's study class, the nation of Yahweh. Uh, Glad to be back after a wonderful feast of weeks. Well, before we start everything, we're going to stand, face the east. We're going to say our national prayer. And then after the national prayer, we will say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. We call the Tefillah. But first, we'll say our national prayer. O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, deliver us from these heathens. Start that again. I'm having a little difficulty here. I'm hearing some vibration. O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from these heathens, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Israel forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against our works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright, and as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults, and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths, are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah, Ave Nu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikardeh Shemeraka, Tavo Maputeaka, Yase Rizonka, Ivashamayim Kain Baretz, Et Lekin Kukainu, Tain Lanu Hayon, Uslak Lanu, All Katari Nu, Imoshaso King, Gomanaknu, Lakote Lanu, Beal Tepienu, Ladeni Sayon, King Kasenu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Lead Givera, Lead Teferet, Leolame, Olame Sila. We thank thee, Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. Praise Yahweh. Well, we're back once again. First, I want to say if you ever wanted to pay attention to what's happening around the world, not only in a world, but inside the country, there are laws being passed that you just won't believe it. But you really want to know what time it is. There are things taking place to take away liberties, and there are things put in place to bring on that one world government and to institute what is called a police state. Praise Yahweh. I want to testify that Yahweh is God, that his son's name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. That we're the nation of Yahweh in search of good people. We're only looking for good people. We all have to consider what that means, and are we willing to do that? And if we are, and if you are, we're looking for you. Praise Yahweh. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 4. And as usual, you want to definitely take notes. But Genesis chapter 4, starting at verse 5. Genesis chapter 4, verse 5. And it says, but unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Cain got mad at Yahweh because Yahweh had not respect for his offering. Verse 6 says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, why are you wroth? Why is that your countenance fallen? Then he said, well, look, Cain, if thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt what? Rule over him. So Genesis in these particular scriptures is talking about rulership. This is nothing spook. This is nothing hocus pocus. This is nothing up in the sky, but it's about rulership that Cain wanted to rule, and Cain did not want his brothers to rule, his brother to rule. We're going to stay in Genesis, but go to 1 John chapter 3, verse 12. 1 John chapter 3, verse 12. Let us read, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother, and wherefore slew he him? Why did this joker slew Abel? Because his works were evil. Cain's works were evil, and his brother's work was righteous. Cain understood very, very good that he could not rule with his work being wicked and Abel's work being righteous. So this was about rulership, and the wicked wanting to be in place to rule. I want to definitely say this now. Cain is black, Abel is black. So this is not about color. This is about righteousness and wickedness not wanting righteousness to rule. Go to Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37 And we're going to start at verse 1. Let us read. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. These are the generation of Jacob. Now understand well that when you hear the word Jacob and Israel, you're talking about the same people. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So when you hear the word Jacob in the Bible, you're talking about a group of people. And then sometime you're talking about Jacob himself. When you hear the word Israel in the Bible, you're still talking about Jacob and you're talking about Jacob's descendants. Verse 2 again. These are the generation of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bala, and with the sons of Zelpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now listen who did this. Joseph did this. Brought to his father their evil report. Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph. We're talking about Jacob now. So Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him coats of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him. Now see, his brethren, which are black now, hated Joseph and could not speak peacefully unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet even more. So now this hatred is even stronger. And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. Verse 7, for behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaves arose, and stood, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about and made abstinence to my sheep. Now, we're not going to act like we knew that word abstinence, but they worshiped his sheep. And verse 8 say, and his brethren said unto him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? It's still about rulership. The wicked not wanting the righteous to rule. And Cain understood very clear that the only way he could rule was to kill Abel. I'm going to read 8 again. And his brethren said unto him, shall thou indeed reign over us? Now in Genesis, it was about rulership. Here in Genesis 37, it's still about rulership. And shall thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dream and for his works. I want us to understand, because a person is black does not mean they are righteous. We, as the nation of Yahweh and the world, must understand that just because you black, you get a pass. That's not happening. All right. Verse 9, hold 1 second. Verse 9 says, and he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made abstinence to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves unto thee to the earth? Well, his father asking, he want to know. And his brethren envied him. Why did his brethren envy him? Because he was righteous and them jokers wasn't. And they wanted to rule in their unrighteousness. But his father observed the same. He paid attention to what's going on. 12. And his brethren went to feed his father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And yet he said unto him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me the word again. Come tell me, Joseph, what's going on. And he sent him out of the vale and Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what seest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, they are departed hence. And I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went for afterwards his brethren and found them in Dothan. Check this out now. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Now these are his brethren, and they wanted to slay him again because of his righteousness. 19, and they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us what? Slay him. The same thing that Cain did to Abel, and cast him into some pit, and we will say some evil beast has devoured him. Now they're lying. And we shall see what will become of his dream. So we're gonna kill him so these dreams of him ruling over us don't come true. 21. Now one of the brethren name is Reuben. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hand. One of his brethren stood up for him. We need to know where the Reubens are today. and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness. Now Reuben knew they couldn't just let him go, because they'd have rose up against Reuben. Reuben's mind was to save his brethren, save his brother Joseph, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hand, to deliver him to his father again. Now, understand that Israel sometimes is talking about, because see, a lot of these individuals in the Bible are types. Yahweh ben Yahweh is the anti-type. And we need to understand that when we're reading the Bible. Go to 22 again. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. Next, and it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into the pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, company of Ishmaelites came from Galilee with their camels bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah, which is another one of his brethren, we're of the tribe of Judah, the so-called black people in America. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? So here we see Judah stood up for Joseph. See, Judah knew his time to rule was coming. And he had to do everything on a righteous level, because he knew when he came into rulership, his brethren were going to turn on him also, or the unrighteous was going to turn on him. Verse 27, 11, verse 27. Come now, let us sell him to the Israelites, and let our hands be upon him, for he is our brethren and our flesh. Now you see here, all these people we're talking about are black. Again, just because somebody black, they don't get a pass, because they're exhibiting unrighteousness in these scriptures. 27 again. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brethren and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by the Midianite merchants, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. So there are some black people that will sell you down the drain for some money. We must understand that. And they brought Joseph to Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, And behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat. Check this out now. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dripped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this we have found. Know not whether it be thy son's coat or no. Excuse me. And he knew it and said, it is my son's coat. Check what they saying. And evil beasts have devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in many pieces. Now they lying to their father. But luckily, his life was spared, and he's in Egypt now. 34, and Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loin and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, for to the grave until my son's mourning. Thus his father yet wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt. Wait just a minute. Sold him unto Egypt. That's 36. That's the last one, the last scripture in 37. Now we're going to go to chapter 39. Chapter 39. Chapter 39. Let us read. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and potters, wait just a minute here. And potters, an officer of Pharaoh of captains of the guard, and Egyptian, brought him to the hands of the Ishmaelites, which he had brought him down thither. And the Lord Yahweh was with Joseph. Do you see that? Yahweh was with Joseph all the time. And when he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of the master of the Egyptian. So now Joseph in the house of the master of the Egyptian. And his master saw that, check this out now. This the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord Yahweh was with him. So the Egyptian ruler knew Yahweh and saw that Yahweh was with Joseph. And his master saw that the Lord Yahweh was with him, and that the Lord Yahweh made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him and made him observer over his house. Now here, Pharaoh putting Joseph as the ruler of his house. And then it says, and all that he had, all that the king of Egypt had, he put it in his hand, in his power, in his authority. 5. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that the Lord Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. not for Pharaoh's sake, but because of Joseph's sake. Yahweh blessed and blessed and the blessings of the Lord Yahweh was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. 6. And he left all he had. Check this out now. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. I want you to know now, Joseph represents us. Verse 7, and it came to pass after these things, his master's wife, check this out now. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Now, when she seen all that Joseph was doing, and she understood that Joseph was being blessed, she was ready to leave her husband and screw Joseph. She was willing to do that. Her husband was the king. Her husband gave all authority. But she had her eyes on Joseph. Joseph must have was handsome too. Verse 8. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, see that comma, he said, behold, lady, all my master's wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he have committed me all that he have to my hand. We're in verse 8. Read verse 8 again. But he refused to lie with her. And he said unto his master, behold, my master rotteth not what is with me in the house, and he have committed all that he have unto my authority. He talking to the king's wife. Verse 9, he's talking to the wife now. There is none greater in this house than I. Neither has he kept back anything from me but thee. So Joseph saying, everything in his house I have authority over, but you, his wife. Because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, sin against Yahweh? How then can I do this great sin against Yahweh? See, this wasn't about Pharaoh. This was about doing a great sin to Yahweh. Do y'all see that? He's saying, if I do this, this is considered great wickedness and sin against Yahweh. See, Joseph understood and refused to lay with his wife. He understood that he was in rulership because Yahweh put him in rulership. And she was trying to get Joseph to sin, a great sin, great wickedness, and sin against Yahweh. There are people today that will try to get us to do great wickedness and sin against Yahweh. These are not only women, but these are men too. So if you're a sister or you believe in righteousness, if you're a male and you believe in righteousness, there are some people out there will try to get you to do a great wickedness and sin against Yahweh. And now, could you help us out on what that means when it says against Yahweh? Against. What does against mean? What does against mean?
Against?
Brother Naya? Yes, sir. Against.
All right.
Against. Against.
All right. Against. Give me a second.
Now,
Pulling it
now,
up.
why are you looking that up, Joseph? I mean, excuse me, Naya. Not you, that you. Yeah, you too, Joseph. You Joseph too, Naya. Always. But see, understand this. Joseph had all power and authority. And when his wife approached him to lie with him and he refused her, he never should have been alone with her. He should have always had people around, guards around. We can take this as experience for something that we should never do. Put ourselves in a position where she or he could lie on us and say we did something that we did do. Because Joseph had all authority. When she made herself known as he should have kept the guards around, maids around, but should never been with her. But see, he trusted her, and she wasn't one to be trusted.
Yes, sir.
So we have to be mindful of who we trust.
Yes, sir.
We have to pay attention to their action, the lifestyle that she displayed. Now I'm saying she, but that's both ways now. You have it tonight.
Yes, sir. Against.
Can y'all hear tonight? Can y'all hear tonight? Go ahead tonight.
Against. The source for this is from a few different sources: the Oxford English Dictionary, Etim Online, Merriam-Webster, and the Strong's Concordance. Etymology for the word against is from ongan, which means toward, opposite, or opposite in response to. The root word.
So when you sin against Yahweh, you're gonna be opposite of Yahweh. But for the people that's here now, my speaker's not that loud. I may repeat some of your words.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
The root word means directly opposite.
Directly opposite of Yahweh.
Again, it evolved and emphasized, and it now has evolved into opposition or resistance.
Now you're in opposition. I'm not. We got to go to opposition. we got to go to opposition. You're in opposition to Yahweh.
You want me to finish up against first?
We'll come back to again.
Okay.
Opposition.
Opposition. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up right now. All right. Opposition. The source is also the Oxford Dictionary, Strong Concordance, Merriam-Webster, and the Hebrew Greek lexicons. Opposition means a placing against, a setting against, or a contradiction. Opposition means to be a resistant or dissent, a force or group that competes against another. The act of standing in the way or going in the opposite direction. A force or person or idea that challenges or contradicts another.
Can y'all hear that?
A force that resists truth, resists righteousness.
A force that resists truth. When you're against Yahweh, you're a force that resists truth. You resist truth. Now, we're not going to look up resist, but please, everybody, look up the word resist so you'll understand what you're doing when you go against Yahweh. Come on now.
A force that resists truth, resists righteousness.
Resist righteousness. It's just in you. You just want to do wrong. You don't care. You don't care about the consequences. I am trying not. Go ahead, brother.
Synonyms for opposition is resistance, conflict, adversity, hostility, defiance.
You're hostile against Yahweh. You're just hostile. When it says a sin against Yahweh, you're just hostile against Yahweh. Go ahead.
Hostility, defiance, antagonism. Defiance.
Did you say defiance?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Antagonism, retaliation, confrontation.
You retaliate against Yahweh?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Confrontation, rebuttal.
You confrontate. You setting yourself up for sure destruction. Go ahead, brother.
And last, counteraction. Would you like me to finish against?
Yeah, yes, sir. Take us back there again.
Against.
Now, what was that word?
That was opposition. The word against has evolved into the word opposition and resistance.
Yes, sir.
Against means to be in opposition to something or someone. Against means to resist, to stand opposite, or take a contrary position. Against is just not conflict. It's alignment in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Would you say that's it? So Joseph said to his wife, she trying to get him to do a great wickedness, not just wickedness, a great wickedness and a great sin against Yahweh. Now, that's a lot of wisdom. You want to read all of this. We're just pointing out some of it. But we have to be mindful of who we with. Because they will not steer you in a righteous way. They will steer you in an unrighteous way and get upset at you. because you want to stand for righteousness. They want to justify wickedness as Cain did. But it's all about rulership. The wicked do not want righteous rulership. We cannot let wicked people among us, when they come and we catch them, we can't say, oh, that's my son, that's my daughter, that's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my partner. Yahweh say, whoever do the will of his father, that's his family. That's his family. See, we are produced because Cain's seed has been placed in us. And we will produce a Cain child until we purify ourselves. Don't get bent and twist out of shape if you produce a child of Cain, because see, when we were asleep, he put his seed in us. That's why it's most important that we purify ourselves. See, once you purify yourself, and hypothetically, if you have a child and the child wicked, the female body will reject a wicked child because it's in conflict with her. Y'all all right? I hope you are. Now we're going to go back. Now we stopped at, we're going to read 9 again, 39 and 9. And Joseph says, there is none greater in this house than I. Neither has he kept back anything from me, woman. The only thing he kept from me is you. And now you trying to get me to take you. Because thou art his wife. He then can I do this great wickedness and sin against Yahweh? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day. She didn't stop after Joseph told her that. She's still talking to Joseph day by day. When she made herself known, Joseph should have always had people around. That he hearkened not to her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business. Now that's all Joseph wanted to do. And she right there waiting on him. And he shouldn't have went in there by himself. And there was none of the men of the house there within. So he should have been mindful, right there. Wait a minute, where's everybody at? Where's all the maids? Where's all the guards? He should have been mindful right then. See, one of the moral attributes is caution. Caution should have been in his mind. Verse 12. And she what? And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got out of there. Do y'all see that? Forget the garment. I'm getting out of here. She might have been beautiful. He said, it's time for me to get out of here. She done grabbed me. I should have been paying attention when I came in the house to do my business, that she done put all the maids out, all the guards out. I shouldn't have done, if I should have called them back in. Verse 13. And it came to pass when she what? Saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, and she called unto the men of her house, what? And spake to them, saying, see, he have, go ahead, in a Hebrew. See, now y'all done brought in this Hebrew man. Y'all done brought in this righteous man unto us, and he mocking us. Now she lying on it. All right. But he came, what? In unto me, and lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. See, they should have been wise then. Now he done took off his clothes and done came in her. Now he in her, and she ain't hollered after he left. And it came to pass when he heard that I left up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and gat him what? Out. And she laid up his garment by her until, check this out, until his Lord came home. Check this setup now. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, the Hebrew servant who you put in charge, that man who you put in charge over everything, when thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me and mocked me, and it came to pass as I lift up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which spoke unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, and his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him in the prison and place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison. Check this out now. But the Lord Yahweh was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the prison. And the keeper of the prisons committed to Joseph hands all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Who was the doer of it? See, now Joseph done found favor in the prison. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was in his hand, because the Lord Yahweh was with him, and that which he did, the Lord Yahweh made it to prosper. In the prison. Some of us have experience when we were in prison because we followed Yahweh ben Yahweh's instruction. We found favor in the prison. I can testify to that. Me and the brothers who was in prison found favor in the prison. The prison guards did not mess with us. They allowed us to be together in prison when the brother was in another section, but they allowed us to be together to study. We had favor. Whenever another guard may try to do something, they came to our defense. So I'm saying this too. It's most imperative that we as the children of Yahweh ben Yahweh exhibit righteousness. Because you don't know, but we're being watched. And as they come time to do their foolishness in America and around the world, what separates us is our morality. I hope y'all hear me now. And Yahweh has instructed us to get you a robe. You ain't got to wear it now, but put it in the closet. Because the time gonna come that they're gonna have to be able to identify us if they don't know us. See, I know I have been on national news, local news, and don't think some of you have been on national news and local news. They showed me pictures of me when I didn't think they was watching me. They showed me a picture and I didn't have on a diadem and I don't go nowhere but the beach without a diadem if I'm gonna get in the water. So we have to exhibit righteousness. And one of his instructions before he was incarcerated, he told us that whatever you do, avoid the appearance of evil. It may not be evil, but avoid the appearance of evil. If it look evil, don't do it. I'm so cautious now. I was drinking some orange juice in a cup and the guy ran to me. I didn't know him. Brother Mark, what you drinking? I'm drinking orange juice, brother. He said, oh. Another situation, I'm drinking water. The guy ran to me. What you drinking? Brother, I'm drinking water. I didn't know these people. I didn't know them. But they watching. And they didn't expect me to be drinking either. That's why they ran over to me. You can believe I showed them the cup now. I showed them the orange juice. I showed them the water. So we see here from scriptures that we have read that not just white people, but there are such a thing as black devils too. And we have to be mindful of them. Don't think that they don't hear these classes that I'm teaching, that Yahweh ben Yahweh is teaching and all the other righteous teachers are teaching. Don't think they're not listening to. They are listening. There are people in all segments of this society that are the Reuben, that are going to assist us because they know Yahweh is with us because of our righteousness. We don't have no guns. We don't have no military. How else we going to survive unless Yahweh have strategic people in position to make sure that his children are all right? And even when you put in jail, when somebody lied on you, there are people there, and I can testify. People ask me, you in jail and you talk like that and you feel like that? Yahweh is God in jail too. Well, it's 9:58, and we're going to hear from one of our good brothers, Brother Naya, for some announcements. Brother Naya?
Yes, sir.
All right, those announcements.
All right. If you are enjoying our classes, we keep a catalog of all our classes on ybYalliance.com. That's ybYalliance.com. We also have a Facebook. called YBYA. We have a YouTube channel, which is the YBYA Alliance on the YouTube channel, YBY Alliance. To all the viewers now, I always I'm thankful for the support. We thank the support you guys give us. And you can find us on TikTok and Instagram. Also, keep in mind, we just got through with the Feast of Weeks. Yes, the Feast of Weeks is now past, but coming right along, strong and steady, is the Feast of Tabernacles. The Feast of Tabernacles, right around the corner. You have no excuse to not be ready for Feast of Tabernacles. Um, Let me get the exact dates. You have the dates, brother Mon?
Um, let's get it up the next. I know it's the last part of September and it goes into October.
Okay, okay.
I'm
So
not sure of the dates right now.
I got it. I got it. I have it.
It's just,
So
all
Feast
right.
of Tabernacles and the Holy Convocation is coming up September 29th through October 6th. That's September 29th through October 6th. Again, the Feast of Tabernacles and the Holy Convocation. On YBYalliance.com on the website, if you go to the Feast of Yahweh, we will have it all up there for you. And you can purchase your tickets to come and commune with us in Riviera Beach, Florida. You can get a day pass. And what I recommend and that people normally get is the all week pass, the all access pass to the total feast, where we can all commune together for the whole feast. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Naya. Boy, Naya, God, it's 8 o'clock out there. Good gracious. Um, mm, mm, mm. Well, we'll continue this next Thursday. Well, we're going to stand and say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, which is Tefillah. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. We're going to stand and face the east. The Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim. Yikadeh Shemerka. Tavo Makuteaka. Yase Rizonka. Ivashamayim Kain Baretz. Et Lekum Kukenu. Tain La Nu Hayom. Uslak Lanu. All Katenu. Emosha Soul King. Gamanatnu. Lakote Lanu. They all Tefienu. Lade Nisayom. King Kansinu. Mean Hara. Kilaka. Mamlaha. They are Gibera. They are Teferet. They over me, Selah. We thank thee, Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls among us. Praise Yahweh. Again, it's our pleasure. Always remember that the nation of Yahweh loves you because Yahweh is teaching us to do that. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday and follow Brother Anaya's instruction. You can go back and listen to this class and other classes through our systems that we have in place. Shalom.